7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Welcome into another edition of the Vegas Squares podcast, our golf betting podcast here. We've got a full Zoom studio. Bobby's all the way back in the Midwest. What's up, brother?
Hi, boys. How are you? Back in motherland, Rockford, Illinois. Played a little golf and then got rained on today, but we're here. We're out here in the streets.
Yeah, life could be worse. Got Token Tony also here in the Zoom studio. What's up, Token?
Not much. Just finished making some dumplings a second ago with
you did.
the girlfriend.
Yeah, you did.
I heard about that, yes.
Yeah. Using your chopsticks?
Oh, yeah.
And then we got Mr. Tony Johnson also here as well. What's up, brother?
No dumplings for me, just hanging out trying to handicap this thing.
Hey, so this podcast was the introduction of our brand new intro for the golf pods. What do you guys think of it?
I liked it.
I loved it. It was phenomenal. I mean, every shot that you saw me hit was absolutely atrocious because I had a bad day, but, you know, what the hell?
I cut him real quick, though.
I like it.
Hey, at least after everybody was announced, the ball went in the hole.
That's true. That was nice, yes. Confidence boost.
So, yes. All right, well, we've been asked to gloss over this, but I have to give props. You called Matt Wolff out of thin air, Bobby. I know he just came up short, kind of a rough round, but I just wanted to give you a little kudos there.
I appreciate that. I mean, we couldn't quite get him into the barn and everything because King Kong was out there bombing him 380 over trees and shit where no one even thought to go. And next thing you know, he's got 115 yards and he's flipping a wedge for birdie. But,
yeah.
You know, it is what it is, 125-1, and we almost got him there. Solo second. It was a good week. Good week overall. Kisner finished solo third. Not unhappy with the way things went.
Fair enough. Tony, how did your week go, gambling-wise?
Go ahead, fake token.
It was solid. I mean, I didn't really have any futures come close, but did really well on the props and only made one matchup bet, which came out really nicely. So, yeah, no complaints here. We got weeks like that where you miss bad in the futures but still win. Take those all day.
Yep, fair enough. All right, well, before we get into this week's Workday Charity Open, we do have a fortnight of events at Muirfield Country Club here, Muirfield Golf Club. We got 2 weeks of Jack's Place. But before we get into that, let's thank the sponsors here real quick. Obviously, first and foremost, 12-Ounce Sports Network, where we are broadcasted in both audio and video formats. Be sure to check out all the shows at 12ozsportsnetwork.com. Make sure while you're there to check out the 12-Ounce store, where you can find everything from polos to coffee mugs, beach towels, phone cases, etc. 12ozsportsnetwork.com. Visit that today. Also, Zingo TV, a streaming service for your iPhone and Android device or smart TV. Please use promo code 12OZ when signing up for a new account, and it is 100% free, no cost to you. Download Zingo TV from your app store today. Catch all of our shows on 12-Ounce Sports, which is channel 761. Let's talk about it. We've got, again, 2 weeks of action at Jack's Place, starting here with the Workday Charity Open this Thursday. You talked about it, Bobby, last week about letting the grass kind of grow on this one. Let's talk about the first tournament here, Bobby. The field isn't terrible. I don't want to say it's terrible. Still a world-class field here, even though we're not going to get to Shambo, the winner last week. But we still got a pretty good field here.
Yeah, we lose to Shambo. I know Kisner's not playing this week. And a couple other of the real higher-tier guys aren't playing, but still a good field. I mean, Brooksy is playing and Xander Schauffele is back. So all in all, for being the John Deere Classic, quote-unquote, of tournaments this week, it's still not a bad field. Pretty good, actually.
Yeah, and Token, they reversed course. This tournament was supposed to actually have a limited number of fans. The governor of Ohio decided to do a 180 on that, much to the dismay of PGA Tour fans. But do you think this was the right move?
I mean, based on how things have been going lately all over the country, probably not a horrible move. I don't disagree with it, but it would have been nice to at least have some fans in attendance and cheer on the players, even if they had to tell them where to stand at exactly what times instead of chasing a certain group of people or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it could have been an opportunity to be a positive for sports because we're not getting fans in the NHL, we're not getting fans in the NBA, we're not getting fans during UFC's Fight Island, but we had a chance to see what life would be like with fans in live professional sports, and unfortunately, we have lost that. So, Mr. Johnson, as we do every week, I will turn to you for a course outline of the Muirfield Golf Club.
So I know Bobby and I, mentioned this before when we played some golf ourselves a few days ago, and the lead up is we wanted to know how the course is going to be set up and how it's going to be different from the Memorial. So I think we do have some information on that, which is good, and it does look like it's going to vary greatly. So first of all, this course in general is a shot maker's second shot course. So a lot of Nicklaus design courses are very much like that. It's a bit open off the tee, and then you really have to hone in and hit a lot of greens. And if you do not hit the green, or if you hit it on the wrong side or on the wrong tier, you can be penalized pretty badly. So I think a lot of overall high-quality ball strikers tend to be rewarded. You look at past winners of this tournament throughout the last 20 years, and that has been pretty much the MO here, is that great ball striking combined with making a few putts here and there, but you do not need to be a great putter here for the most part. So, of course, we'll play about 7,350 yards. Next week, it's going to play probably 100 yards longer. So we'll see a lot of different tee boxes used. They even said they're going to use the white tee boxes on one or two holes potentially, so that should be interesting, depending on which hole they use that on. The rough will be cut a little bit lower than normally. Normally it's about 4.5 inches, only going to be about 3.5 this week. So I think all of that entails not necessarily being a bomber's paradise, although it does lead towards that.
Right.
I just think that you're not going to be nearly penalized as badly as you would by errant tee shots or errant shots that miss the green. So it just brings a lot more people into the fray, a lot more into the mix. I think there's a lot of guys that have the potential to win this tournament. We're probably looking at about 20 under again for the winner. So, that's kind of where I'm at. One thing to note, it might rain and or thunderstorm later on Friday. So finding when tee times come out, which I believe they have just come out recently today,
They're
Tuesday,
out, yeah.
They're out. You might want to try to look towards a late starter on Thursday and an early starter on Friday for the potential to not have to go back out on the course if they do delay twice on Saturday. That could be a big bonus here too. So I'm kind of looking at that early on here as well.
Now, quick question before we elaborate. Now, did I read somewhere that they're starting at like 3.5 this week in the rough, right? And then
Yes.
They're not cutting it at all throughout the entire 2 weeks, right? Like they're letting everything grow up through the next 2 weeks?
As long as it doesn't get above 4.5 inches. The key was 4.5, and they don't think they need to cut for it to get to 4.5, just based on the growth patterns of this time of the year. So yes, you're correct from what I understand.
Okay. I thought I read that somewhere. Golf
Yes.
Digest or some shit. Okay.
Yep.
All right, and this week we get Brooks Koepka back after withdrawing last week after his caddy tested positive for COVID. Seemed like he was getting on the right track before the setback. We'll talk about him. He's obviously one of the favorites right now. Westgate has him at 14-1 opened up here. We talked about DeChambeau not being here in this week off. I don't want to crown DeChambeau some kind of god, even though he looked fantastic for 4 days. But the fact that DeChambeau is taking this week off, does that bring some of these guys back into the fold? Because it seemed like, even though he didn't win all these tournaments, it seemed like he's the guy who's been up there. I mean, he's got 4 straight T10s or better, and he's just having kind of that just week, that month where nothing's going wrong for him, but he's not playing this week. That's just a general question.
Well, because Jack's tournament's next week, and Jack's tournament holds a lot of prestige with these guys because Jack Nicklaus is on Mount Rushmore. You know what I'm saying? So even though Muirfield Village is hosting the Workday Charity Classic or whatever the hell it's called, you know, Bryson still wants to be fresh for the Memorial. Because
Right.
Memorial holds a lot of weight with these guys. It's not a fifth major or anything like that, but everybody wants to win because they want to go and shake Jack's hand afterward. That means a lot to these guys. So I can understand the week off.
Well, we've seen actually, I mean, theoretically, big names win all 4 weeks here at the restart of the PGA. Mr. Johnson, do you see something like that trend continuing? I know I don't want you to kind of give away how you're feeling with the betting process here, but do you kind of expect that trend to continue, or do you think maybe we might pull someone out of left field here?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Trying to predict a winner is always obviously the toughest part of all of this. You know, again, I think the way the course is set up and the situation that we're at, I think there's a lot of guys in the mix here. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if you get somebody around 100 in the world, 150 in the world that has a decent chance down the stretch. But certainly, as has been mentioned earlier, you know, guys like Patrick Cantlay, Justin Thomas, Andrew Shoffley, I mean, there's a lot of really, really quality names that if they are on their game, you know, and going full throttle A+, those guys are going to be just impossible to beat from somebody that is 100 to 150 in the world. So there's a lot of variables in that sense. I like the way the setup is for a player that is not exactly of the elite caliber, that is not an elite putter either, that is not going to be the best guy in and around the greens. If Victor Hovland was rested, this would be, I think, a really good chance for him. But you know, this is his 5th week in a row, and making every cut, he's got to be fatigued. But things like that. So I would say it's more open than what normally would be for a Memorial, to answer your question.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, without further ado, we will get into the wagering for this week, Token. But before we do, I'll give you a read from 12 Ounce Sports here real quick. They've got live lacrosse coming back. Also no fans, unfortunately. But if you are itching to watch live lacrosse, they got you covered. The 12 Ounce Sports Cup, they got a cup named after them, is going all this month in Alberta, and they've got the live action from the Great White North. Cody Jansen will have the call as 5 teams battle it out on the floor for the inaugural 12-ounce cup, which will be handed out on July 28th. So, boys, we got lacrosse back, so baby steps.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a top 3 sport for Canada, I believe so.
Yeah, northeastern and Canada. Yeah, it's really getting big, actually.
Yeah. So is broomball, though, too.
It's like hockey and soccer. It's like hockey and soccer mixed with wrestling a little bit. So
kind of, yeah.
All right, so traditionally how this goes, we will give you our futures picks. We do have the first pack, the middle tier, and the long shots. We also have matchup bets. And then, of course, last week we implemented our own player draft, which I did take the first edition of that with DeChambeau winning the whole thing. But I do move to the last pick. This week it will be Tony Johnson first, Token second, Bobby third, and myself bringing up the rear. But we'll get to that at the end of the we'll get to that at the end of the show here. So let's start with the favorites. I've got Westgate and I've got William Hill up here at the same time. These Westgate odds opened up yesterday. William Hill I have a little more current right now. The favorite currently at both spots is Justin Thomas at 10-1. Patrick Cantlay has also moved to 10-1 at William Hill. So Token,
Cantlay moved to 10. Oh my God!
Yeah,
the boys are tightening the strings.
They are.
So Token, I'll start with you here. This first clump from Justin Thomas on William Hill, Patrick Cantlay, all the way down to Jordan Spieth at 40-1. There's a guy in this spot or two guys that you see that you like.
I don't like any of these values. If I really had to pick one based on value, I would say Spieth at 40-1, and I don't even like it then.
Yeah, I looked at that too. Spieth, I mean, at some point he's got to get it going, right? He's playing okay, not great. It doesn't matter really what number he's at. You just don't feel confident he can compete in a tournament right now. So I don't really blame you at that. Mr. Johnson, what do you see in this first clump of guys?
I just got one guy here. I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa. I haven't actually bet it yet, but he's 33 here on William Hill. You can find him at 35 in some other spots in Las Vegas, which is way better than the rest of the world. It seems like they're more on point, or most of the other books worldwide are more on point with Morikawa than we are out here, and I think there's some meaning there, some really, really strong meaning there. I like the setup a lot for him. I was on him a couple weeks ago when he shit the bed and missed his first cut in 22 appearances on the PGA Tour as a professional, and I think the week off will be nice. And again, I just like the chance of him coming here for the first time, but not having to have all the screws tightened all the way. Again, this is going to be a lot easier than it will be next week. I don't know if he's in the field next week or not. It doesn't really matter. But I think it's a great spot for him, too. All the things that he does well should fit very well here. And he's a late early tee time as well. I just checked that recently. He does go off pretty late on Thursday and very early on Friday. So that's kind of going with my theme that could actually matter a little bit here. But that'd be the guy that I'm considering here in this price range.
All right, Bobby. So we got Justin Thomas at 10-1, all the way down to Jordan Spieth at 40-1 here. Who's the guy in the first clump that you see?
I wholeheartedly agree with Tony Johnson. I love the Morikawa. Morikawa was right on my radar, and I think Kuchar is at 40, isn't he? Is Kuchar right around 40? Kuchar's at 50?
Kuchar's
okay,
at 50.
So Kuchar is kind of in the next tier, but Kuchar was closer to that lower tier for me. So probably I like the Morikawa Kuchar type plays this week. So I like where Tony Johnson is with Colin Morikawa.
All right, fair enough. All right, a wager I've already got in for this clump for this weekend. Been playing decent golf, taking a couple weeks off, but I like Justin Rose. I got him at 25-1. He's down to 22-1 here on William Hill. I like Justin Rose this week, so I've already.
What'd you say you got him at?
I got him at 25. He's down to 22.
His record here is incredible. It's incredible here. He's really, really good in this course.
Yes, that's one of the reasons I grabbed him as well. All right, so let's move to the middle tier here. Looking here on William Hill, we've got Sung J M all the way down to Chris Kirk. Sung J M at 45-1, Chris Kirk at 95-1, the last of the guys in the double digits. Mr. Johnson, I'll start with you here. A couple of guys here. Bobby already mentioned Kuchar. He's at 50-1. But Mr. Johnson, what do you see in this range right here?
And we were talking off air about this guy, and this is the only one I have in this range. But I might as well fire him while we're at. And I know he's one of your guys, Aaron. That's Joel Damon.
Love that guy.
Yeah, he's got a really, really bad number here on William Hill at 65. But if you do a little bit of lifting, not even very heavy lifting, I think you can get into the 75, 80 range with ease. So,
Westgate.
Joel's just
Westgate 100-1.
100-1. He's 100 at Westgate. There you go. Okay,
he
perfect.
opened there. So
Open, yeah, that's right. So there you go. I mean, this is the type of guy that we're looking towards in this tournament. Great ball striker. Is not necessarily all that accurate off the tee, but that's not really needed here. He's really good out of the rough too. Again, rough is not going to be a huge issue this week, but he's very, very good. He's third or fourth in proximity from the rough this entire season. The restart, he's been even better than that. I don't know where his ranking is, but he's been even better. And again, it's just Bobby mentioned this off the air, whether he gets hot with the putter or not. That is, Joel Damon will be a top 30 player in the world if he can just putt on a general, consistent basis. I mean, he's that good as a ball striker. But he is shown to be an absolutely abysmal putter. He gets frustrated sometimes late in rounds and doesn't get up and down. He's kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't know what his issue. I mean, he's nuts. Okay, fair enough. So that explains that a little bit. But my goodness, if this guy just got his head, straight in that regard, he's a hell of a talent. So I like him here. I like him here at the numbers that you can get. That's my only guy actually in this spot. I got a bunch of guys towards the end of this thing. Taking some shots, but this is my guy here.
All right, Bobby, what do you got in this? You already mentioned Kuchar. Is there anybody else in this spot? You got your Matthew Wolff again. He's only 50-1 this time.
No, I don't like Wolfie here. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of adrenaline drop after last week, after having a three-shot lead. I mean, he might make the cut, might finish T20 or something like that, but I don't think Wolfie can get a win here. Another guy I had in the top tier, by the way, I wrote down on my little sheet of paper here. Xander Schauffele, 24-1. I like Xander. But in this mid-tier, I like Kuchar. And this is my pick to win this week is Matthew Fitzpatrick. Matthew Fitzpatrick hits the ball right on the face every time. He hasn't gotten that putter hot yet. He's due for a T10 where he starts making everything within 20 feet. if Fitzpatrick can find a way to go tee to green, and start making some putts, Matthew Fitzpatrick's my pick to win this week, 50-1.
There you go. You heard it here first. He had Wolfie
Nice.
almost last week. Got Fitzpatrick. All right, Token. Middle clump.
Yeah, middle clump, I'm going a little north for this pick. I am going to take Corey Connors at 80-1. I think tee to green, he will make up a few shots on this. And if his putting gets together, I see him lifting the trophy.
I like it. I like Corey Connors this week, too.
Yeah, he fits this type of track really well. I agree. Another guy that can't putt, but these are the guys that we want here in this spot. Yeah, for sure.
And another one that might be interesting, same odds, is Lefty, of course. I mean, I just don't think he's been consistent enough to make a run at the title this week, but he's one that might be somebody to watch out for.
Fair enough. All right, a couple guys I got in this middle clump. I have Marc Leishman right now. Really more of just a bet. I like the guy. He does have a win and a second, albeit before the shutdown this year. Not really playing quite so well coming back, but I'm thinking maybe he just needs the rhythm to get it turned on. Finished at the Travelers. He finished 5 under, tied for 58th, which isn't great, but and missed the cut at Charles Schwab. But at 50-1 here, I'm going to take a flyer on Marc Leishman. Also, Cam Champ last week didn't finish T12.
He's got the Rona.
Really good. Well, he did. Really good 4th round last week. I'm hoping that he can continue that momentum. And at 70-1, I like Ben An as well. This guy is kind of like Token's version of Siwoo Kim. I mean, you wonder with a guy with all this talent, how he can miss cuts and finish, top 10 in 2-week stretches. At 70-1, I'm gonna take a flyer on that guy too, Ben An.
Yeah, he's going to be one that would risk it for the biscuit for sure.
Yes, he will. All right, so moving into the long shots, Tony, since you've got a few guys on this list, I'll save you for last. Token, so in the long shot area, I'll go ahead and give mine first since I've been going last. The 3 guys, I got 3 guys in the long shots here right now. First one, last week, didn't have a great 4th round, but put a good tournament together. Ryan Armour, he's 125-1 at Westgate. Finished T4 last week. I'm going to go with him at 125-1. Also, I know I'm piggybacking off last week's performance, but I'm going to go with Matt Wallace as well at 125-1. He was finished 12th, tied with Cam Champ last week as well. He's 125-1. And the aforementioned Siwoo Kim is 200-1 at Westgate right now. He's made 4 straight cuts, so anything can happen. So 200-1. I'll throw the bone there for you, Token. Siwoo Kim, 200-1. That'll be mine. So, Token, what do you got in the long shot here?
Like you mentioned one of mine is Siwoo for sure. I mean, 175 at William Hill, but 200's better. One that's a little closer to favorite I like is Brandon Steele at 150-1. Another one at 150-1 I like is Mackenzie Hughes. I think the pressure is off of him from a few weeks ago, shooting him at 60, and he can get back to reality and play his own game.
Does Mackenzie have his card sewn up for the most part, by the way?
What was that?
Does Mackenzie Hughes have the card sewn up for next year, by the way? It's got to be close, right?
I think he's pretty close if he hasn't locked it up already. But they might be making also.
He won. He won last year, didn't he? I thought he won an event last year. Isn't he good for a couple years?
You can check on that.
Okay.
Sorry, boys. We're on the move.
You're fine. Go ahead to the next. That's my only pick. So.
All right. So, Bobby, what are the long shots you got here?
My boy with the salad this week, Pat Perez. I love Pat Perez at 150. I mean, he's been making cuts and everything. Here, we grab this $20. And at 150, he's going to be firing the pins because he needs the T10 bad. I like Pat Perez, 150-1.
Looking at Mackenzie Hughes, it looks like he won in 2017. He's got a couple of seconds.
Okay.
So he may have an extra little bit of motivation there, like you were talking about. All right, so just the one at the long shots, Bobby.
Well, I also had Joel Damon. I had Joel Damon at 90, just like my guy said. But 150 is my only bomber this week. I'm kind of taking a light week from the Matt Wolf fucking letdown. So it's looking like I like Matt Fitzpatrick to win, and my bomber is Cat Perez.
Patty Perez. All right, Tony. Let's find your JB Holmes this week.
Here we go. Let's do it. So we'll start out with Emiliano Grillo, a guy I've been backing a decent amount over the last couple of years. Great spot here. He's 4 for 4. He's got 3 top 25s. He just fits the course beautifully. And again, another guy that short game lets him down a little bit, but ball striking, he's best of the best. So Kyle Stanley, pure on maybe the worst putter of all the people we've talked about. I mean, Stanley is atrocious. He couldn't fit in our group on at Legacy in Henderson. He's that bad.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, okay.
That last time me and you played, man, my putting was even worse.
Okay, well, we weren't good in that last 9, but nonetheless, the point is Stanley is up there. But ball striking was. Yeah, okay, right. Duffner's probably worse. That's true. That's true. Okay, that's fine. Fair enough. He is, yes. Stanley, good record here. He's got 3 top 10s, actually, and only 7 times. Now, I know we're talking about the Memorial, but again, I think with the way the course is now, I think it'll be a little bit easier for him. And he's been playing a lot better, too. He had that top 25 the last time he was out as well, 2 weeks ago. Luke List, 175 to 1. Again, just a flyer based on his game and then what makes sense for what we've talked about here. And then just 3 more. Adam Long at 225. Again, ball striker extraordinaire. Has never really sniffed the top 5 or top 10 on the PGA Tour, but is a really talented player, and I think he's going to break out at some time soon, and we're just trying to catch the knife, I guess. Jamie Lovemark at 400. Again, same type of stuff, same type of game. And then a guy named Bo Hogg, who is his grandfather helped build this course and was very good friends with Jack Nicklaus. His grandfather was the chairman of the club for a while. Bo grew up here, has played, he says, almost 150 rounds probably in his life, and finally got through the Korn Ferry Tour last year to get his card. And, a guy that's really familiar with the course, especially with the way it's set up right now, because it's set up like it would be for the regular members. So
500 to 1.
Take a shot, 500 to 1. Why not? So that's my list of long shots. And again, when I'm not putting a lot on here, this is a much more chill week. So I'll be putting less dollar amount than normal, and probably just staying mostly with these future bets. I'm not even sure that there'll be a matchup bet put in or not. I don't know.
Yeah, nothing wrong with throwing about $30 total for a bomb to hit. I mean, nothing wrong with that. So, all right, well, let's move into some matchup bets here. But before we do, I got to let you know, from 12 Ounce Sports, the Captain Lou Extravaganza airs every Tuesday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. They cover everything from NHL, ACHA, hockey, all the way to professional wrestling. They are featuring special guests, coaches, players, broadcasters, entertainers, and more. Check out the Captain Lou Extravaganza on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV. All right, boys, matchup bets, and then we're going to get to our draft here this week. Token, you're the matchup guy here, so what have you seen so far? I got a few myself this week.
Yeah, there are a couple on my radar. One for sure I like that I see value is Koepka plus 120 over Rahm. I mean, Koepka with a few weeks off, I'm sure he's got a little break in and much needed break for him, even though after the restart, not too much. I see very good value on him. And then another one would be Drillman over Bubba at minus 110.
Yeah, I got like 10 minutes on.
All right, on William Hill, I'm taking Leishman over Cooch at minus 110. Also, for the tournament, I'm taking Spieth over Morikawa at plus 115, even though I have no confidence.
How much are you going to bet on it?
I'll probably throw $40-$50 on each.
You want a big free versus me?
For what, Leishman over Cooch?
Cooch, yeah.
Sure.
You think you're going to – sorry, we got dogs.
I'll save the vig. I'll save the vig for $40.
All right. So
All right.
me versus you, Leishman versus – is this first round?
Tournament.
Tournament? Perfect. $40, me versus you. Vig free. You got Leishman, I got Cooch.
Lock it up. Also, plus 115. I got Spieth over Morikawa for the tournament. Again, I don't really have a lot of faith in Spieth, but if you're getting him at plus money for him to have put a good weekend together, this might be it. And I'm also taking Ben on plus 140 over Sung Jae Im as well. You give me 140 on a guy I think might win this whole thing, I'm gonna take it. And at Westgate, I already put in Justin Rose plus 110 over Hideki Matsuyama as well.
Nice.
All right. Well, other than the Vig Free, Bobby, what else? You got any matchup bets?
Nothing. I'm on vacation. I'm only betting futures this week. I'm on futures, and I got the matchup bet with you. Other than that, I got the week off. I'm playing golf and drinking all week.
Nice.
Nice. Great.
Dream.
All right, so Mr. Johnson, I know that you said you have a light week here, but is there anything that catches your eye?
You know, what caught my eye was what you just mentioned. I saw Rose over Matsu at plus 115 when it opened on Monday. So I didn't bet it. Again, I didn't bet it, but I'm right with you there. I think there's some good value right there. And then moving over to William Hill, you know, I don't want to lay 130 on Morikawa, but if I'm going to pick a side between those two, I don't want Jordan Spieth in this one. I don't like laying big chalk in these things, but absolutely. Those two guys.
My dream is Spieth shoots just enough to make the cut and Morikawa misses it.
Fair enough. Well, that's pretty much what I think you might need. But yeah, because giving these guys 4 rounds, each of these players, I'm going to take Colin in this matchup. But, you know, again, I'm probably not going to bet any of these things. The only one that I actually might fire here is Harold Varner over Brian Stewart. And again, I'm the theme of guys that are playing every single week and have made every cut. Brian Stewart is that guy. He just played in his home state, and I know that was a big deal for him. He wrote about that on his Twitter feed a couple of different times, how important of a tournament that was. And, you know, this is a Harold Varner type of track here. He can just let it go completely off the tee. I like it. I know he's minus 120, so I don't like laying money here, laying juice, but that just seems like a great matchup there. So that would be the only one I actually might bet, Harold Varner over Brian Stewart.
Okay, they got a yes hole-in-one, minus 105.
I actually had the yes on it last week, and it came through at minus 135. I was able to get that.
That was
back out.
Ryan, right?
Losses.
Ryan, what's his face?
Ryan Armour.
Armour, yeah. And the 72 win score, we've got a 268.5 here. You were talking about 20 under there. This falls right around it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty much how I had it mapped out. You know, I don't know. Another number I wouldn't really touch. I know it was very close last week, and I think Bryson birdieing 18 actually got the under, which is sort of funny. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can do about this. I guess if there was any sort of gun to the head type of thing, it's supposed to possibly rain Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Take the under.
Yeah, if it gets bad, you know. If it gets really bad, I take the over. If it was a rain like Thursday, Friday, and then good to go, and the course just got super soft, then I would definitely want the under. But yeah, when it's off and on, and they're on and off the course type of thing, I would be taking the over here if I had to. But no bet for me.
It's the John Deere. Leave it alone. Light volume week.
All right. Well, if you're tired of the same old bag of bland beef jerky, then grab a bag of Wicked Cuts today. You got your bags, boys?
I'm about to place an order for some.
All right. Grab a bag of Wicked Cuts. It is the most tender jerky you can get your hands on. 2 new flavors arrived: Applewood smoked bacon jerky, Carolina Killer, which is hot as fuck. Pick up a bag today at many nutrition shops or at wickedcuts.co. If you use the promo code SQUARES20, you'll get 20% off your order online. All right, boys. I need a taste test. I need y'all to try them.
Well, let me know. This is coming from a non-jerky eating person. Not that I don't like it. I just don't eat it. I like the flavor a lot. In fact, I enjoy this more than the one I tried yesterday. I can't remember which one that was. But
the orange teriyaki or something like
that? Yes. I think this one is better. It's got a nice kind of barbecue flavor. It's not over the top, which is good. And the beef is nice and tender and pretty tasty. So I mean, it's good for me. I'm not a jerky connoisseur. I cannot compare it to other things that I just don't know them.
But it is solid. I mean, it's not a lie. It's the most tender jerky I've probably had.
Yeah, it tastes really tender. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it does. So good.
Yeah, I'm more into beef jerky than probably all you guys, and I like how tender it is. The only thing I don't like about this barbecue mesquite one, it's a little sweet for my taste. I like more of a dry, kind of rough and tough, even if it is tender. But I do like the little tingle you get with this. It's not too over the top for the common person and all that. And it's got like a little sweetness, but it's just a little too sweet for my taste.
Yeah, keep her in the back, please. Don't let her come up there.
Right on. All right, it's time for the draft, boys. And
oh wow, forgot.
Yeah. Oh boy, it's time for the draft. So Tony, you are on the clock. It's for the Workday Open. For the first pick in the draft, you are taking.
Why do I feel I'm going to be really bad at this contest as we go on? I don't know why. This just doesn't seem like something I'm going to do well at. But okay, I have to come up with somebody. Wow, who to avoid and who to latch on to? Difficult.
Yeah, you've only had 2 days to make the pick.
Yeah. You know, I'm with you on the whole Justin Rose thing. I think that with a better number, he would be the pick to go to in this tournament. The only thing is, though, I like guys that have had rest, and I like guys that are kind of seeing this thing early on, especially guys that'll spray it off the tee and don't care. I'm going to go with the guy I'm actually betting on this week. I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa as the first overall pick. I know he's kind of lower on the list, but I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all with Morikawa. I'm going to take him. I'm taking him first. Go with him.
It's really good.
And actually, Tony, if you didn't take him, I was going to. I know
There you
how you guys are on. This one I am going down the shit list for. This might be even worse than my Jason Day pick last week, but I'm going to take Siwoo.
Wow. That's down the list.
Him with the second pick
Nice.
in the draft.
Hey, he's a go big or go home guy. Yeah, he's a go big or go home guy. I respect that with Siwoo. So there you go.
You're either going to win this week or you're going to be out by mid-Thursday.
Yeah, I like it.
Fair opinion.
Impressive.
So, all right, Bobby, you have the third pick in the draft here. You've got Morikawa and Siwoo are off the board here.
All right. Normally, if I was betting just based on our odds and I was going a little bit safer, I'd take Cooch because I know I'm playing on Saturday. But last week I went with Finau over Matt Wolff, even though Matt Wolff was my number one. I thought for sure he was going to finish better than everybody. So I'm just going with my guy this week, and that's Matthew Fitzpatrick. Matthew Fitzpatrick's going to beat your ass this week.
All right, that's fair. All right, well, with the last pick, I am going to take a guy I'm not even a fan of, and it's going to be hard for me to even root for him. But I don't mind taking your all's money when I can get the opportunity. And that is Jon Rahm.
Are you taking Tiger Woods?
Yeah, I'm taking Tiger Woods. I'm taking Tiger Woods Jr., Mr. Jon Rahm, on the course here. I don't really love anything about him betting-wise.
You can do a lot worse than Jon Rahm. That's good. That's a good pick.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm looking to make it 2 in a row, and I'm getting the first pick next week, so I'm excited about that. So, all right. As we wrap it up here, wind down, let's thank the last of the sponsors here. ChaiPoker.com, founded in January of 2016 as an organization dedicated to poker and charity. Chai, the Hebrew word for life, often used in the Jewish culture. So Chai Poker is the combination of life and poker, aka the poker life. If you've had a big tournament score recently, please consider making a donation to ChaiPoker.com, where they are helping various charities across Southern Nevada. All right, boys, we got 2 weeks at Jack's Place. We got the first one here, the Workday Charity Open. Hopefully our bets, even though we have light action this week, hopefully our bets come through. Hopefully your bets come through. And if you're watching the podcast and you can think of a pretty good name for our golf podcast, I urge you to tweet us at Vegas Squares. And check out the new website. We got a new website. Check it out at lvsquares.com. New website there. You can check out all of our stuff, our articles, our podcasts, our sponsors as well. So for Bobby Digital, who I think we just lost.
He may not be alive. It looks really dark.
No,
he's okay.
Oh,
All right, good.
He's alive.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. And Aaron, I just wanted to say thank you, guys. I appreciate you. I'm on vacation. I've been drinking all day.
Enjoy your vacation,
It's all good.
brother.
Yeah,
We'll
enjoy
catch
yourself.
you. So for Bobby
I appreciate-
Digital,
Appreciate you guys. I'll see you in a couple of weeks and whatnot. I hope you guys do great this week, but definitely be back for the memorial and everything. Hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you later.
Pleasure, Bobby. Yep.
all right, for Bobby, for Tony Johnson, for Token, I am Aaron. We appreciate you listening. Good luck on your bets. I need a tagline to get out. Hit them straight and putt for dough.
Risk it for the biscuit.
Oh, God.
Risk it for the biscuit. I don't know. I'll come up with something. I'll just use bad ones until I come up with a good one. So, all right.
Hey,
That's
risk it for
from
the
us.
biscuit's a great one.
That is a good one, yes. We'll catch you on the next one.